When Björn Ulvaeus wrote The Winner Takes It All in 1980, he poured his heart into every word. But what most people don't know is the cruel twist that came next. He made his ex-wife Agnetha sing those painful lyrics about their failed marriage. She called it one of the hardest moments of her life, standing in that studio singing her ex-husband's words about heartbreak and loss. But this wasn't even the worst part of their story. The real nightmare happened years before, and Björn kept quiet until now. Björn Ulvaeus was born on April 25, 1945. In Gothenburg, Sweden, right as World War II was ending. His parents, A.A. and Eric, lived a simple life. Eric worked at a paper mill. Their apartment was small with shared toilets, and Sweden was still under rationing until 1951. Even so, Björn was already humming melodies by age 5. He didn't have much, but he listened closely to radio songs and remembered every tune. Sweden's economy was growing fast, yet many families like his still struggled. Gothenburg was full of shipyards and heavy work, and it shaped how young Björn saw the world. He learned early what effort meant. In 1951, when Björn was 6, the family moved to a quiet coastal town called Faltskog. It was far from big cities. Winters were freezing. Life slowed down there. But in 1956, something changed. Björn got a small guitar from his cousin that Christmas. He was only 11, but he practiced for hours, copying songs he heard on the radio. He loved the raw sound of skiffle music, especially after hearing Rock Island Line in 1955. At night, he would be alone in his room plucking strings and dreaming. Vestvik had only 20,000 people, but those long quiet nights helped him fall in love with music. In 1957, at just 12, he built his own amplifier out of spare parts. He wasn't just playing, he was creating. But school was hard. Around 1952, he started at the local grammar school, and the teasing began. Björn wasn't into sports like most boys. While others played soccer, he listened to Elvis. He was shy and quiet, and that made him an easy target. By age 10, he was finding comfort in smuggled American rock records. Sweden barely had record players. Only 15% of homes owned one. But Björn found a way to listen. Rock around the clock played in his ears. While classmates mocked him, the more they laughed, the more he escaped into music. He even tuned in to Radio Luxembourg late at night, hiding under his covers. By 1957, he had already started forming music groups in secret. He played at local fairs by 1958. Behind the pain, something powerful was growing. In 1957, Björn and his friends started a small band. They played folk and skiffle songs like Tom Dolly and performed at church events and town fairs. But he was terrified of being on stage. During one early show in 1958, he forgot the lyrics. People laughed. He couldn't breathe. The panic attacks were so bad they followed him even into ABBA's fame years later. He once admitted he used beta blockers during a buzz in the 70s to calm his nerves. Still, he kept going. They practiced in a garage for hours every day. In 1960, they even won a local contest and took home 50 kroner. That was a huge moment for a boy who used to cry after school. Then came the moment that changed everything. In 1963, when he was 18, Björn joined the West Bay Singers after winning a national radio contest. That same year, they changed their name to the Hootenanny Singers. They focused on Swedish folk music, not the British pop wave that was taking over. On October 26, 1963, they performed a song called Jag Ventervidma on a TV show that was watched by millions. It was their first big break. By 1964, they had signed with Polar Music, and Björn was touring across Sweden in a beat-up van. That summer, they played 168 shows in parks and open fields. Their album, also called Hootenanny Singers, did well despite competing with the Beatles and Stones. Their choice to sing in Swedish, not English, made them stand out. It was during this time that Björn met Benny Andersson, the man who would change his life forever. But while the music was growing, Björn was also trying to study business and law at Lund University. He enrolled in 1964, the same year their album came out. barely attended class. By 1966, he was on academic probation. He was on the road all the time, performing in small towns, earning 500 kroner per show. He was living two lives, one in lecture halls, the other on smoky stages. He later admitted he remembers little of this period because of a memory condition revealed in 2009. Still, this chaotic time gave birth to his first big hit. In 1966, their song, Gabrielle, based on a Russian tune, climbed to #1 in Sweden. Stayed on Svängtoppen for weeks and hit #5 on Keltoen. But it sparked a controversy. Russian media accused them of stealing the song. Even so, it was released in 6 languages, including German and Finnish. Didn't chart overseas, but Björn was now a known name in Sweden. That same year, he and Benny Andersson started writing songs together. Their first attempt, Isn't It Easy to Say, was recorded by the Heapstars, but failed to make it to Eurovision in 1969. Yet, something powerful had started. Björn and Benny wrote together constantly. In 1968, they created Luva Sexidol, a cheeky song about the 60s sung by Brea Borg. They often worked while traveling, sometimes even riding in cars during long road trips. Björn said their musical connection was like love at first sight. In 1969, they began recording their first album as a duo. It was called Leah, meaning happiness, and it came out in November 1970. Björn sang almost every track. It was deeply personal, full of acoustic guitar, and it hinted at the pop style. They would later perfect with ABBA. They sold just 10,000 copies, but something was shifting. In the summer of 1969, while on tour, Björn met Agnetha Fältskog at a cafe. She was only 19, already famous for her 1967 hit Jagversvar. Björn was 24 and immediately drawn to her. They sang together on a song called To Live With You, their voices blending in a way that felt natural. She had just ended an engagement to a German producer, which made headlines. Soon they were inseparable. They married on July 6, 1971, in a quiet church in Vurum. Benny played the organ. Their daughter Linda was born in 1973. Their son Peter came in 1977. Even after their